Goo's not feeling well. He wasn't feeling well yesterday, and he gutted it out. Appreciate that, Goo. Love you. Willard and Dibs are going to be in shortly.
Yeah, room's a little bare right now.
They're taping an interview that later on they'll pretend is live.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, as long as we're breaking fourth walls, let's just break it.
They also might have been trying to set it up like it was going to be live.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but you just told people that it's not live.
That's right. I know I did.
Why? Why would you burst their bubble like that?
Listen, there's nothing worse than doing those taped interviews, and you try to pretend it's live, and then what happens? The texts start coming in, and they say, nice try, but we can tell it's taped. You must be upfront with people. That's one of the lessons I learned as a child and a kid that they're not learning anymore.
You literally said radio's theater of the mind.
When I want it to be. What's so hard to understand?
It's not your show. You don't get to make choices for them.
We are...
we're all a team, but...
So we're talking about Canadian artists because Drake's going to put together a dream team. And Kay said Rush. Rush is Canadian. They never did it for me. I never liked Rush. In fact, they're one of the few bands that I kind of don't like. They got one of the worst songs I've ever heard. It's almost as bad as Walk It, Talk It, Walk It, Talk It.
Those are the Migos. Show some respect.
Yeah.
By the way,
Today's Tom Sawyer, that song is lousy. There's too much screaming in it. All right.
Neil Young's from Canada.
I know. I mentioned him early.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is The Weeknd, I think, is from Canada.
Okay.
This guy named Nav, who my brother likes him, and I can't stand him. But basically, Drake's out of bullets. That's pretty much what it's come down to. He's in trouble.
So it's
a wrap. Shut up, priest.
No, let me ask you seriously. So is there real acrimony between the two?
It certainly appears like it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's a subject broached that we can't, discuss on air, but Guru and I will talk about it. We can't get to the cafeteria because you're golfing. Because apparently you can't golf enough. And that's a stupid question.
I'll work on my short game tonight.
Oh, you know who Drake can bring out?
Who?
John Fogerty.
Oh, my God. What a classic.
It was around 10:30 from yesterday. Check it out on the Odyssey app.
Did my friends get a kick out of that? Oh, my God. I mean, I don't want to repeat what happened.
I got to say, you handled it just about as well as anybody can.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm just glad it didn't get out there.
What do you mean? I've been telling everybody.
No, I mean, like,
the streets are
actually
flooded.
Viral.
Oh.
Because I think it's possible that you could have heard that clip and thought, this guy doesn't even know who he's talking to. Like, and listen, I don't like to point fingers, and I won't, but it was not my fault. That's all I'll say.
I won't point fingers at anybody. Specifically, I'll just point them around the room. No, you handled it great. You did a great job. So good of a job that Spadoni and I were laughing our asses off.
It was class. It was an all-timer.
It was an all-timer.
I believe it was an all-timer.
It was an all-timer.
Hey, we got Fogerty.
I'll tell you what, thank God YouTube was down.
You know what?
Otherwise, it would have gone viral.
I think you're right.
Someone would have clipped that.
I think you're right. Giants playing the St. Louis Cardinals, Rickwood Field,
Yes,
Birmingham. 4:15 first pitch. My guy. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Cubs. Did you know? I know, and I'm not saying this to start a fight. Do you know there are 9 teams in the National League right now that are between 1 game under 500 and 4 games under 500?
I didn't know that.
9 teams.
I also just found out that Rickwood Field was constructed before the Panama Canal.
A man, a plan, a canal, Panama. You know what that is?
Teddy?
A man, a plan, a canal, Panama.
Oh.
It's a palindrome.
Yeah.
It's a palindrome. It means if you read it backwards,
I got it.
It's exactly
I got it.
the same thing. It's fascinating.
A man? Well, technically you leave out the P at the beginning, right?
No.
A man, a plan. Oh, you use all...
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Where are these guys?
I know. We are really...
They don't get in here by 2.
You know what?
What'd you say to me yesterday?
Like, I'm not...
There was a natural break.
There wasn't that. Sometimes conversations just die naturally and there's nothing to be ashamed of. What? Like, seriously. Where are they?
I don't know. Grandy, do we have an update?
I don't want to be a horse's behind.
This interview had better be good. Wait, no. Oh, they're taping it with...
I'll deem whether it's worthy.
Is this Kirkjian? No.
Kirkjian can do it live. It's not that big.
Kirkjian's great.
He is great. Kirkjian would like to... No.
He's talking about the significance of Rickwood Field.
No, I get that. It was about the Giants. Oh, yeah. Let me... Here, I'll show you.
Oh, because they're all in lock jam for the NL wild card?
That's correct. That is correct.
By the way, Cardinals, I think, officially overtook them.
Yeah, and the Mets are 1 percentage point back. Okay, here you go. You ready? This is unreal.
Kay still doesn't believe in them.
You cannot convince me this is good for baseball. Not that they're doing it on purpose. You ready for this?
Sure.
Arizona, 37-38. Cardinals, 36-37. Padres, 38-40. Pirates, 36-38. Nationals, 36-38. Cubs, 36-39. Giants, 36-39. Mets, 35-38. Reds, 35-39. That's unbelievable.
There's 7 teams within 1.5 games of the final wild card spot.
Yes.
And the Giants are among them.
I mean, can't you feel the pennant fever coming?
There's a race.
Oh, yeah.
A race for 500.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
a
the
race.
fever.
Dude,
Yeah.
81 games might get you into the postseason this year.
Is that a Valkyries?
No, it's the Town FC. And before we get into my
Hey,
sweatshirt
Dibs.
and
Hey, welcome.
everything else, I do want to, on the one hand, apologize.
Chastise me.
but-
This is the chastise me segment.
No, this is not. This is actually the praising of you for a number of reasons. I'm going to start with Evan because, my God, I had no idea. But
What?
first, I'm going to say, on behalf of Mark and I, we want to apologize for our tardiness, but we had a chance, and you're going to hear it later today, to talk to Willie Mays' best friend.
Best friend.
Oh, awesome.
A family that took Willie in the 60s, helped him out financially, and became a major part of his life. Turns out Mark has a deep personal connection through like 2 degrees of Aaron Oberholzer to this man. Gary Shimano is his name. We're going to replay
I've
the
heard
interview in the
that
5
name.
o'clock
I
hour.
bet you have. In the financial world, he's built a name for himself.
So
Let's
we
put
had
it
a
that
chance
way.
to interview him before the show, and I'll just say that he was emotive and expansive in his thoughts and feelings about Willie Mays, and that's why we're a little late to the handoff
fair
thingy.
enough.
Yeah.
And so I just want to apologize to you and the listeners
that's
because
great.
I do love this 148 to 211,
We'll go to
212 if he's in a good mood.
Well, now we have to go to 217. So
least,
thanks for
yeah,
that.
thanks,
I
Steiny.
appreciate that. But
Yeah.
No, these stories are unbelievable. The stories are unbelievable.
Crazy.
Willie lived with this family for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, the Shimano family. And,
Heard of
and-
that name.
And indeed, not to go into the weeds because what people care about here is Willie Mays, but I've known the name for years without knowing this part of it. I've known who Gary Shimano was because one of my absolute best friends in life, Aaron Oberholzer, who played on the PGA Tour, Gary was one of his sponsors when he got out of high school and helped start his career. And so I've always heard Aaron refer to Gary Shimano. I just thought it was some guy who had some dough. I had no idea
That he was
until
the guy.
recently that this is like Willie Mays' best friend.
Wow.
And the stories are absolutely
Right.
bananas. So that was a special conversation.
Yeah.
We'll have that for
Pretty
you
cool.
5 o'clock today.
I'm so glad that you guys came clean because I
do you
took a
mean?
jab at you.
At me, not him.
No, both of you.
No, you're
No, that's
afraid of
fine.
him.
When?
Well,
That's fine.
But that doesn't mean I can't take a shot at him when I don't think he hears.
That's a good point. That's very
like
fair.
when you're scared of someone, you take shots at them when they're not around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So Grandy said, hey, these
Say it
guys
to
might be a little
say it to my
late.
face, Steiny. I'm right here.
I just told the listener, I said, Willard and Dibs are taping an interview that they're going to pretend is live.
No, we won't.
Well,
Exactly.
we might have had we not been late, but the more I thought about it, and we, I think, might be sharing the Bob Costas from yesterday, which was spectacular. So Mark and I were kind of quietly discussing an exit strategy with a couple of back-to-back tape pieces today.
We're actually going to follow you out the door today, Steiner. You better leave at 2:17.
The
We're
beauty
leaving
of
at
the tape piece.
2:16.
And it's funny because Lucas Alexander,
That is
our
great.
great producer, the director of sports, I texted him. I said, I texted him and I said, so Lucas, with the Costas in this piece, 5 o'clock, we're out of here. And he said, who do you think you are, Chris Townsend?
I was going to mention. There was nobody better. There was nobody better.
Well, the
at
only
that.
one who might be better
Love Town.
is the man to your left. Hello, friends. During the pandemic, tell the story about how you were mailing it in on the other side.
Above board
Syndicated.
Now.
You can do that when it's syndicated.
And it led to FP getting in trouble. That's what the beauty of it was. The beauty of it was, so I'm doing the night show at the other place, the pandemic hits. Right? I'm a guy with 3 kids and a show that at times goes till 1 in the morning.
Okay.
And I don't have a huge house. So I'm like, I can't be sitting here on school nights going, hey, Gabe Kapler in the 7th inning. I can't, it's the pandemic.
Right.
I'm talking to a wall. So what I would do was for the 6 o'clock show, I'd get in there at about 5 o'clock. I'd connect to the guys down the line and I would record about a half hour of content. And then we would just lay that in it would all be timed out, and they would lay that in the back end so that I could get off the show about an hour early because the kids were going to bed. Well, I move over to 95.7 The Game. In comes FP and a completely new program director, and FP starts recording stuff and getting out of there early, and the PD's like, what the hell are you doing? You're not allowed to do that. And apparently he's like, well, the last guy did. He's like, I didn't know. I thought that's what you were allowed to do. So anyway, pandemic radio, yes. Guilty as charged.
And today, Gary Shimano will join us on the back end of the show, and you're going to want to listen to it because the Willie Mays stories are without comparison.
It's just unbelievable.
Can't wait.
Well, while we're in the space, and before Steiny thumbs illegal,
I'm actually getting. I still don't know this by heart.
I know you don't. And before I praise you, I want to spend some time praising Evan. And I already tweeted this because I was in my car driving in, and your knowledge of the Negro Leagues, your knowledge of Rickwood, your knowledge of things that happened 70 years before you were born, I was both awestruck and quietly just proud of what we have between you and Lucas and Grandy, and we, go to Sterling and Ken and whatever, all the young, quote
I'd
unquote,
throw Spadoni in there too.
I would too.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of all the young people, and I do love the young people, but what you were doing, and you did about 7 minutes, and I could tell it was no notes. It wasn't like Dibber on Wikipedia, stammering through, trying to figure out what he's reading. You have knowledge. And I was like, wow, Evan Giddings, I was impressed.
Oh, I appreciate that. And but I think that's what the event is about. I didn't know everything about it.
Right.
I was interested in the Negro Leagues when I was a kid just because baseball, and I think being in the Bay Area, you play with all different kinds of people, so there's connections that I guess pique your interest. Like, for example, when I was in high school, I played for a guy named Brian Gwynn, in shortstop management. Shout out to him. His kid played at Cal, but his father was the scout who signed Ricky Henderson. So that was somebody that was, prominent in the Bay Area baseball community. So all these things just kind of pique your interest, and you start reading about things. And I feel like Rickwood is the perfect time for that for a lot of people to, at your own, level or however long you want, to go back and think about things that happened before, to educate yourself and to ideally learn something that's kind of cool. There's a lot of things that happened that weren't very cool at that time, but that also paved the way for a lot of the situations that we were obviously talking a lot about with the passing of Willie Mays. So, it was kind of one of those things where Mays passes away, and I got to do the show with Steiny today. I've been listening to a podcast or two about Rickwood, but then all the different pieces of, knowledge from the past, they all just come flooding back, and you realize how much you actually know about something. And if I have a chance to share it, the perfect time to.
Well, and I love your answer earlier when it kind of was, and I forget which one of you brought it up, but like, what are you looking forward to most?
Yeah.
And even with everything that you just said about all that, your answer was, it's probably going to lead to, it's an opportunity to learn even more. I felt that, like, when you threw the question out, it was one of the first things that popped into my head. Like, I can't wait to check it out to see more about what we don't know, because there's no way that we're going to know all of it. There's no way that we can even begin to experience all kinds of things about it. I'll tell you that in our conversation with Gary Shimano, there may be a development about Willie Mays at Rickwood Field that nobody on earth knows.
Shocking.
Nobody on earth knows
Stunning.
about Willie playing at Rickwood Field, except for those that close to him. And so those are the kinds of things I really look forward to, in addition to, because I kind of agreed with what you said too, Steiny, like, I want to just see it.
Yeah.
Let's like we've seen the build-up pictures. Now, what does this look like in a Major League Baseball game? You know, they've done this the last few years with home runs flying into the corn.
Yep.
Like, I can only imagine, you know, what's going to happen if to whoever hits one out tonight. And, like, is that what kind of emotions if Yaz hits one out, knowing that he's the third generation to play there? Like, what? I mean, he's hit one at Fenway before. Is this hit him even harder? I don't know. Like, this is a special thing. These uniforms, the visual side of it is going to be different.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. I just like to say I appreciate the way you said that, because you didn't make me sound like the heel that I really am. And it's that, hey, what is Evan looking forward to? Well, it's an opportunity to learn and expand and cultural, and I just want to see a stadium.
Yeah. I'd like to see a victory, for crying out loud. Can we get a win?
Seriously.
You know, can we get a win? That's somewhere on the list.
Well, you got him on the mound, so you'll be all right.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a 4.
Keaton Wynn doing the...
It's a sneaky 4.
it's not bad.
And for you, I wanted to praise you for your acknowledgement of your daughters for redoing the man cave.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it got flooded out, although I'm picturing it, knowing, and that's actually where I was when we found out about Kobe Bryant and the Kobe Bryant passing. I was actually in that very room with the TV mounted on the wall, and you telling the story about your daughters redoing it, I think, is incredible. And then the other piece that I want to praise you for is the death of the window. The death of the 8 to 10, 10 to noon.
Oh, yeah.
The window has somehow gone away to where your window for the TV install is 7 to 7.
Oh.
And I'm driving at Highway 24 and the 580 interchange, and I'm stuck in traffic. And as you're saying it, I'm saying the exact same thing. That's not a window. That's a day. And actually, I said the off-air version, which is, that's an MFing day.
Right.
But you said it perfectly, and I'm like, this guy, as much as Evan's in his bag, and I can't wait to tweet that, I'm like, Steiny, you are so right, because it used to be, hey, Comcast, we'll be there between 8 and noon.
Exactly.
Okay, 8 noon seems like expansive, and okay, I can block out 8 to noon. I know it's going to probably be 11:51. It could be 8:03. Either way, you got me. 4 hours, I'm here, and Xfinity always comes through. Much like the text line brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. But 7 to 7, that's unacceptable.
Is there a wider window? Like, you might as well just tell me, well, it'll be there between Tuesday and Thursday.
Exactly.
Like seriously.
Well, that's what's coming next.
How much
Exactly.
further are you going?
That's what Amazon does. What's wrong with that? That's what I feel like there's been appointments. Like, we'll be there sometime between 8 a.m. and, I don't know,
But
8
that's at
a.m. the
least
next
like
day.
delivery, they can drop it off in your doorstep.
Peter Goober would say that's under-promising and over-delivering, which is what you want to do.
I guess. Yeah, that's definitely better than the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh, I got something to ask you, actually.
Okay.
So, one of my daughters is graduating from school in London, so she's into soccer, and she asked the family to try to get interested in the Euro Cup.
Yeah.
Which is on now.
Yeah.
So give me something to look for. Now, the problem is most of the games are going to be during my show, but we're going to watch Saturday Belgium versus somebody.
It's a big one, and Belgium is one of the pre-tournament favorites.
They're in trouble, right?
They're stacked. Yeah, they had a difficult result in the opener, so they're in I don't know if it's quite a must-win, but it's a big one. And the games are usually and correct me if I'm wrong, Grandy, but they're usually like 5, 8, and 11 a.m. our time. There's usually 3 games a day.
Yeah, I think the last one normally starts at noon. The last one today just ended.
Yeah, Spain still, did they hold on 1-0?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Spain, Italy. Yeah. It was. It's a good one. So the Euro is it's the European Championship, which happens in the years where they don't have the World Cup. So it's a World Cup year. 2 years later, it's the European Championship. 2 years later, back to the World Cup. It's about the best soccer theater you can get between nations.
Nice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in our region, we have an equivalent, but it's
CONCACAF?
It's a knockoff, the CONCACAF. Honestly, the Africa Cup of Nations would be the next closest thing, in my opinion. And again, Grandy, correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as like tournaments among continents,
Right.
the CONCACAF, it's a joke.
Well, so like, how do you pick a side? Like, I'm assuming your daughter Steiny is rooting for England,
Correct.
because she lives in London. But
Correct.
I don't know.
Well, I'm half Italian. I'm rooting for Italy.
There you go.
But you're also
The Azzurri.
But the other half is like Anglo-Saxon or something.
German.
So, fine, but you could
The
take.
host nation this year.
I root for both, like in the Olympics.
But you can't do that. You got to pick a side.
Are you going split cap on me?
No, I'm saying, no, I like both. I like all countries.
You're asking a guy who is not a fan of anything to root for something.
No, I root for the United States to lose.
Clip that. Go ahead and clip that.
And he's on
and
his
roots for
favorite
Germany.
golfer is Patrick Reed.
Yeah,
so
what do
there
you
you
root
go.
for?
Germany and Italy. That's basically the axis.
Let's open up the conversation. What
Right.
do you root for?
I root for people that I've got a relationship with of some kind, or
Okay.
some kind of connection.
He was a Hawks fan for about 5 years.
Right, but what?
Yeah, four years and 2 months.
Well, the further we all go, the less of a relationship you're going to have with anyone who's actually affecting games.
Wait, one more time. I'm sorry.
The further we all go, the older we get.
Right.
The less of a connection, a direct connect you're going to have with anyone who's actually playing.
Playing,
Right.
but like running. Like, okay, for example, like seriously, if Bob Myers gets his next job,
Okay.
I'll root for that.
You root
team.
for that team.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
will.
a T-Wolves fan because did you play college hoop with Finchy?
Well, he's from my area. He came later than me, but he went to the same college as me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you know him a little bit.
Yeah, I see him when he comes out here and kicks the Warriors behind.
So
Remember
you're a
they
Finch
said-
fan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
It was crushed.
Exactly.
We actually did get to see Salty Steiny after the conclusion of the Western Conference Finals, which I gotta say made me feel pretty good.
Well, you guys do what you do, and I don't like it. That's
Yeah.
all.
I hate to see it.
Yeah, you
I
really
hate
do.
to see it.
So we're people that you have a relationship with who you don't root for. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially.
Okay. Got
I
it.
think it was after
Just want to
they,
make sure. Just trying to understand.
I think it was after they lost Game 2. He comes in and just goes, "How do you guys do this?
That's right. That's right.
How do you
I did.
root for a team when
did.
they lose?" I was like,
did.
"Yeah, that's called being a fan."
Yeah, it's tough. It's a
I'm
roller
out.
coaster.
I'm out on that. Like
Yeah, for
Guru.
sure.
No, trying to think. Like if Steph Curry ever makes it to the senior tour or the Champions Tour,
Right.
I will absolutely root for Curry. No doubt.
Then how come you don't root for the Warriors now? He's on the team now. You root for him as a golfer, but you won't root for him as a basketball
That's a little
player?
complicated, Mark.
That is complicated,
Yeah.
but it's true in essence. I don't. I feel like I don't want to. I can't root for local teams because
Might have to rip them.
it's just because that's who I am. It's just like I can't.
Hashtag Mavs and 6. You know.
Okay.
And you want to say that you
I
were
didn't
put
say
up
it.
to that? I said it. And
I didn't say it.
You know what? And I
you
don't
weren't put
that
up
will-
foot to it, and
that
you
will-
didn't take one for the team. You did that because you like to be that guy. You like it. You like to be the villain.
I did that because Willard baited me, and it was the start of me being afraid of him.
I actually didn't bait. You
Nah,
did it
you
before
did.
I even said anything.
Did
I
Willard
called you
stick
out
it to
after
you?
Actually, Whitley was in on it too.
I called you out after you did it. I didn't even know you were going to do it. I didn't
Yeah.
bait you. I didn't bait you.
Should have taken
I
Kings in
remember
9.
one crossover where you were like, you interrogate him, Steiny. Do you really believe that?
Yeah.
Or are you just saying
Because
it?
you had already done it. That's what I'm saying.
I know, and I had to lie and say, no, I really believe it. It was wrong.
But don't accuse me of baiting you.
Stuck it to me.
I didn't even say anything to you about it before you did it.
I don't even want the backstory out because then it's gonna rehash it and.
Oh, it will never die.
No, I know that.
It will never die.
Just like Steph Curry always says to me, well, I'm not a true point guard.
Right?
Wow, he always talks to you?
Well, because he said that. Steiny said that back in
every time-
09 or 10.
Yeah. When he wasn't a true point. He still isn't. Now, he's gotten around that, but. All right, guys. Hey,
You're looking
seriously, what time?
You should probably.
What time is the interview?
5 o'clock.
Okay.
5 o'clock. Gary
wait.
Shimano, and not only the best Willie Mays stories you've ever heard, I would argue it's not going to be breaking news. It's something that nobody knows. Nobody knows.
That's called a tease, Steiny.
Is it happening tonight or has it happened already?
Oh, it happened a long.
Oh, this is going to be good.
It happened in 1947.
Ish.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 2 hour and 45-minute tease.
Where is that tease happening?
95.7, The Game. This guy is